Master. You are leading householder's life. It is necessary for you to live in the company of holy men. First of all, the company of holy men. Then Shraddha, faith in God. How can people have reverence and faith in God if holy men do not sing His names and glories? People respect a man if they know that in his family there have been royal ministers for 3 generations. 2M. Even if one has attained knowledge, one must still constantly practice God consciousness. Nangta used to say, "What is the use of polishing the outside of a metal pot one day only? If you don't polish it regularly, it will get tarnished again." I shall have to go to your house sometime. If I know your house, I can meet other devotees there. Please go to see Ishan sometime. To Monilal. Keshav Sen's mother came here the other day. The young boys of her family sang the name of Hori. She went around them, clapping her hands. I noticed she was not very much stricken with grief over Keshav's death. She observed the fast of Ekadashi here and counted her beads. I was pleased to see her devotion to God. Monilal. Ram Kamal Sen, Keshav Babu's grandfather, was a devotee of God. He used to sit in a tulsi grove and repeat God's holy name. Priya Mohan, Keshav's father, was also a Vaishnava devotee. Master. The son could not have been so devoted to God if the father had not been like that. Look at Bijoy. His father would become unconscious of the world in divine ecstasy while reading the Bhagavata. Bijoy can hardly control his emotion. While uttering Hori's name, he sometimes stands up from his seat. The forms of God that Bijoy sees nowadays are all real. Speaking about the different aspects of God, formless and with form, Bijoy said that God sometimes appears with attributes and sometimes without attributes. He gave the example of the chameleon, which sometimes turns red, sometimes blue, sometimes green, and sometimes remains colorless. Bijoy is really guileless. One cannot realize God without being guileless and liberal-minded. Yesterday, Bijoy was at Adhar Sen's house. He behaved as if it were his own place, and those who lived there, his own people. One cannot be guileless and liberal-minded unless one is free from worldliness. Then the master sang, "You will attain that priceless treasure when your mind is free from stain." He continued, "You cannot make a pot without first carefully preparing the clay. The pot will crack if the clay contains particles of sand or stone. That is why the potter first prepares the clay by removing the sand and stones. If a mirror is covered with dirt, it won't reflect one's face. A man cannot realize his true self unless his heart is pure. You will find guilelessness wherever God incarnates himself as man. Nanda Ghosh, Dasharath, Vasudev, all of them were guileless. The Vedanta says that a man does not even desire to know God unless he has a pure mind. One cannot be guileless and liberal-minded without much tapasya or unless it is one's last birth.